Okay, it is going to be full face Friday on Saturday again. Sorry, you guys. Things come up. Can't always do it on Saturday. Okay, so today we have got a full face of Palladio. Woo, can't see that, can you? There, maybe that's better. There we go, Palladio makeup. Let's just get to it. I'm going to go ahead and use this setting spray to prime. Okay, that is kind of not a very fine mist. And now my skin feels really wet. Really, really wet. Okay, and I've got for foundation today the Palladio Build. It smells really good though, that setting spray. Build and Blend Foundation Drops, botanical and vitamin infused. Okay, so this is a foundation drop. Still kind of, my skin is still kind of wet. Yeah, that sprayer is kind of like, it's not a very fine mist. It's like, you can tell it's a spray, but it's like a, I don't know, like it's not fine enough. I can still feel like I have wet skin. Come on, I ain't got all day. So that's sort of a bummer. It seems like a really big bottle though. I mean, look at that. Anyway. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the dropper on this. Oh, okay. It's gonna be kind of thick, not thin at all. Every time they give me a dropper, doesn't matter what brand, that's really, really light. Might be too light, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna do it anyway. Every time I get a dropper foundation, I'm always like, oh, it's gonna be really thick, or not thick. It's gonna be really thin, but this one is certainly not. And I think all the dropper ones I've tried have not been thin at all. They've all been really thick, much thicker than I was expecting. Okay, this is kind of feeling very similar to the Burt's Bees foundation. I think this might be like maybe like a powder infused or something of that nature. I know the Palladio brand is supposed to be really like natural, and so it's having that kind of a feel to it. Very like now I can feel it feels a little bit oily, greasy, not real bad, but I can still feel it, and like the pigment that's in it seems like it's almost like a powder, but like you can see it transferring like all over to my fingers. And that one drop that I dropped out was not enough for my full face, and it starts to set down like almost immediately. And I bear in mind I've been shaking this up since I got it, since I purchased it yesterday. And it's wanting to set down. I've been shaking it and shaking it, so it should be thoroughly mixed. So far, I think the shade does seem a tiny bit too light, and sometimes, like, I'm just gonna take a little bit of that and just dot it on, and maybe see how it feels. Yeah, it almost feels like it turns from a liquid to a powder, and I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm leaning towards the not liking it side of things. Sometimes, if I have a shade, though, going back to my earlier thought. That matches my neck. My face is has so splotchy and so much pigmentation. It is so much darker than my neck that it just seems like out of whack for it to be that light. So it's sort of like it's the right shade, but it seems weird. And also with the light shining. But I probably would want one shade down from this, or at least to mix the two lightest shades if I had to. All right. So next we've got a concealer. This is the Palladio Liquid Concealer is all it says. And this is not the lightest shade. I got one that I felt would be a little bit more camouflaging for my under eyes. And it looks like it's going to be a little bit pretty good coverage, so let's see. Oh, see that? It is not wanting to blend at all. So I would say if this concealer is any good, which I'm not sure at the moment, coverage looks okay, but not great. I'm gonna put, I think I'm gonna use a little bit of my, I've got places to go today, so I'm gonna have to try and look halfway decent. So I'm gonna put a tiny bit of my Ulta concealer right here, which is, the shade is pretty similar, but I know that this has a bit more coverage. And that Palladio one is like, you better do one eye at a time and blend it out quickly, or it's gonna set down on you and make a mess and look like a mess. There we go, that's better. All right. Okay, and at the end, I mean, you guys know the drill. I'll talk about my thoughts at the end. Next is gonna be the Palladio pressed rice powder. Mattifying and perfecting in translucent. This is a cute little box. Magnetized box, got a mirror in there and a square puff. I'm going to use a powder brush though, because that's how I would always do my makeup. The mirror looks really nice though. I'm going to attempt to take care of that. Okay. Okay. Pressed powder. And, you know, it's a powder. Give you a little bit of a swatch. It's really soft. It's a mattifying powder. And girls, to be honest, like, I feel like I'm going through a lot of hormone changes right now. I am going to be 40 next month, so that might be par for the course, but I feel like my skin is acting a little bit dry recently, which is new territory for me. My skin has never been dry at all ever, so you know, pray for me. Okay, next is the Palladio Silk FX all-in-one herbal eyeshadow in the shade Mirage, or in the, is it a quad? It's a quintet. It's like 5 shades. I'm going to use this exactly how they say. I'm going to follow the directions here. They've got a all over base, a crease, lid, highlighter, and liner color. So I'm just going to follow what they say. Looks like one almost matte shade. This crease color is almost matte. It's not completely matte. It's got a tiny, tiny, tiny sheen on it, but that doesn't matter. Let's get to it. Just so you guys know. Okay, so I'm going to go in with this color, which is the all over base color, and I'm just going to use that as a all over base / transition shade. Okay, so not a ton of pigment, but that is kind of a light shade, so that could be why. It is sort of a I guess it's a mid-tone brown. Let me give you a swatch. Oh, it's really, yeah, it's not got a lot of pigment. But I mean, it's showing up, so, you know. It just isn't, that doesn't look like the same shade in the pan that it's looking on my eyes. It's just, I was expecting a little bit rosier shade. But not terrible. Okay, so the all over base, I'll go ahead and do the crease color next. I'm going to use a smaller brush to kind of place the color. This is the Morphe M506 brush. It is crazy soft. It's like a pointed brush. I'm just going to place it in there just to deepen it, and then I'm going to blend it more with the fluffier brush. This brush is so soft. There we go, that's a little bit better on this side. I think I kind of wedged that brush in there a little too tight. A little bit. I just don't want it, I don't want this look to get too crazy because I got places to go today. My life outside my hobby, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Alright, now I'm going to do the lid shade, which is that real pretty, it's like a wine burgundy type shade. A little bit of a mirror for this. Come on, mirror. Go ahead and use the Palladio mirror. Whoa. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and say that these are pretty softly pigmented. They don't seem to be... There we go. That's a little bit better. Yeah, if you tap the excess off, you're gonna get a bit of a softer... Well, that might have just been the top layer. May have been just not as pigmented. I'm not getting a lot of fallout. They're soft. They're not too dusty, actually. It's wanting to hang together and not kick up dust. So, all right, let's go ahead and get this highlight shade on, which is this one right here. Put that on my brow bone, of course. And I'm also going to bring that the inner corner. Since I'm so fair, I feel like I might want just a little bit of a lighter inner corner highlight than that, but it's golden. It's not like a white inner corner highlight. This one right here. So, all right, and then I'm gonna take the liner color, and I think I'm gonna just blend that right along my lower lash line. If I can find my Morphe brush again. So the deepest brown is gonna be your liner color, and I'm just gonna put the tip of my brush into that, tap off the excess, and put this right down here. So this look turned out to be a bit more dramatic than I was anticipating, although I don't know why I wasn't anticipating a dramatic look with all those dark dramatic colors, but you know. This brush is so soft. I think this is the softest brush I've ever used on my lower lash line, ever. Gonna blend this side a little. It's so soft, you guys. Like, I always thought like the whole Morphe thing was like such a scam. I was like, please, it's just, they're overhyped. Well, that's what you get for not knowing your facts, right? Okay, so that's that for eyeshadow. Okay, now I'm going to grab a mascara. This is the Palladio 4D Boost Volumizing Mascara. I didn't realize, but it's brown. I never use brown mascaras. I just always assume, like, who wants brown mascara? I don't know very many people that want brown mascara. So anyway, we're going to use it anyway, so... look at the brush on that, though. I kind of feel like I'm liking that brush already. I like that the brush is very nicely cleaned off. There is a little bit on the tip that you have to wipe off, but so many mascaras are like that. got a million errands to run this afternoon. So it looks like I'm being dressed to kill. Or like, at least my eyes are. Alright, I've got an eyelash that is legitimately, oh there it goes, I was going to say it's legitimately poking me in the eye, and it just came off on this mascara brush. Whew. That could have been a problem. Okay. Okay, I don't like that there's a little bit of gunk right on the edge of that brush right there. That's going to make a mess. This feels like a pretty wet formula, which usually is not my favorite because the wetter it is, the more likely it is to stick my lashes together. But as you can see, it's making them pretty full and fluffy, which is what I like. And I'll discuss all my first impression thoughts in the next video. I always do a follow-up video just to save on time. Alright, so there's lashes done, and they don't look terrible. Okay, next thing, brows. They have a very skinny brow pencil, Palladio the Brow Definer, and it's called a micro pencil. It's got a little spoolie with a cap on it, which I think is so cool. And this does not feel like a wire brush going through your brows, so that is certainly nice. I don't think I've ever used a micro pencil before. Actually, I usually use powders. The shade is black brown. It is very micro. Absolutely. Let me grab a little bit of a close-up mirror. Okay, it's kind of soft, so you'll have to be careful. I usually don't like pencils that are too soft. And I know I kind of made a triangle point right there. I didn't mean to. Can't win them all. That's pretty soft for a brow pencil, which is not my favorite thing. I like them to be a little bit harder. Like, what's going on? What are you thinking, Holly? There we go. But the shade looks good. Let me give you a little bit of a swatch of the shade. Oh. Yeah, shade looks good. It is in fact black brown. So the shade looks really good. Alright, so we got brows on. I may have over blended those, but what are you gonna do? Alright, I always do cheeks next. I have the just Palladio Baked Blush in the shade Rosy. It's a really small pan. I feel like it's like a little teeny tiny pan, but it's just like a rosy blush, baked blush. Don't want anything too okay, this I think is going to be too light. Oh, it's pretty. Very pretty. So I like that. That's really pretty. Alright, and I've got a highlighter. This is the I'm Glowing Highlight Palette. I'm not a big highlighter using girl, you know, so I will use, I mean, that, you could probably, I mean, let me give you some swatches before I start babbling on. Okay, that gold one I think probably will be too dark. Middle one is lighter and yellower. That one might be okay. I'm kind of interested in this little bit pinker one though. Yeah, I think I'll use the pinker one. Okay. Highlight brush. I'm gonna use the lightest one. No, it's not the lightest one, it's the pinkest one. A little bit sparkly. Put a little bit more. Yeah, it's kind of chunky, sparkly. Not really showing up, I feel like. I'll get a close-up look in a minute. And then I think I'm also going to blend this right here because that's looking a little cray-cray. There we go, that's much better. Okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and grab some of this middle highlighter and put it on my inner corner. Yeah, this is a little too, I don't know, maybe not finely milled enough. It's just not, I feel like it's not really showing up, like I'm having to put more. There we go, that's a little bit better. But even there, like, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, next is lips. Last thing for lips. I don't have a gloss. Make sure I used everything. Oh, you know what? I knew I was forgetting something. This is the Palladio Liner Obsessed 2-in-1 ink liner marker. And I did open this already, but check out that tip. Like, do they mean 2-in-1 because like you can make a thick line this way and a thin line this way? I don't know. We're gonna find out. We'll see if I can do this. So hopefully this won't make this video like way long. All right, so okay. This is very black and very full of ink or whatever it is. Okay, so this is pretty smooth. And black. That wing is out of control. That was pretty quick. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And I usually do my wing before my mascara, but I don't know. Okay, last thing. We got lips. This is the Palladio Smoky Rose lipstick. It doesn't really say what it is. This is in the color Smoky Rose, obviously. I've got a little bit of gloss on, but it's because my lips were so dry. They had other lipsticks. A lot of pigment in this lipstick. But I don't like the color at all. It's a little too caramelly for me and certainly for this look. So I'm gonna take that off. Lipstick's not bad itself, but I'm not into it today. Let's see if I've got a gloss. All right, I'm gonna put this Bare Minerals gloss on because I feel like, look how ratty my lips are looking. Alright, so apparently it is all about the eyes today. That went a little bit crazier than I was planning. Especially since I decided to just use the recommended placement for all those products. Okay, so there we are, you guys. Full face Palladio products. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one, and I will have a follow-up video for you just a few minutes. Thanks. Bye-bye.